Offender facing 20 charges now for allegedly exposing himself multiple times to women and young girls in locker rooms at high schools across Arlington County, Virginia. And the area's transgender policies may have paved the way for him to do.
A shocking incident in Arlington County, Virginia has sparked outrage and raised serious concerns about school safety and gender policies. A registered sex offender, Richard Kenneth Cox, allegedly gained access to a girls' locker room at Washington Liberty High School by claiming to be transgender. Cox, a Tier 3 sex offender with a history of indecent exposure, was charged with repeatedly exposing himself to women and girls in the locker room. This disturbing incident has highlighted vulnerabilities in the school district's transgender bathroom policies, which allow access based solely on self-declared gender identity. Virginia Attorney General Jason Miyares has demanded the transfer of the case to his office, citing concerns about the failure to prosecute sex offenders and the risk to vulnerable groups. Miyares has accused Fairfax County Commonwealth's attorney Steve Descano of turning the county into a safe haven for criminals.
The cases, you hear these stories and you think, how in the world did this happen? And this happened because you had certain local, in this case, a local Commonwealth's attorney in Fairfax, who views himself more as a social worker than a prosecutor. And so back in June of last year, months before these incidences in Arlington, this individual, as noted, was a registered Tier 3 sex offender, the highest level for indecent liberties with a child, a criminal conviction, a felony conviction dating back to the 1990s. This individual went to a Planet Fitness, exposed himself. Those charges were later dropped. But the reality is, because he's a Tier 3 registered sex offender, he's not allowed within 100 feet of a daycare or center or school. Well, guess what? Right next to that Planet Fitness was a daycare center.
Wow.
They could have prosecuted him on a felony in June. He was allowed to be back on the street. And as a result, he exposed himself to a 9-year-old, a 5-year-old, multiple individuals, and now he's facing multiple charges in Arlington. But this is what happens when local prosecutors fall through the cracks, and local government, in this case in Fairfax, specifically allowed a policy that allowed individuals like him, a biological male, to freely walk in and use the women's restroom.